Hey guys, Jordan here. Today we're checking out the new MSI MPG X870E Carbon Max Wi-Fi. A little bit of an update on the original Carbon. We'll talk about that more in detail, of course, in the video. But let's get straight into this one. The original was around $450 at launch, so expect £400 to £500, that kind of market. It is going to be a high-end board for the AMD processors, also dual chipset with the X870E as well. So if you've got a lot of I/O you plan to run through it, this is certainly a board to look at. In our little bag, we've got our Wi-Fi adapters. This supports Wi-Fi 7 and also Bluetooth 5.4. We've got, of course, our motherboard straight there as well. We'll put that to the side for the time being. Underneath, we've got our little adjustment key for our M.2 if you want to change the positioning to use a 110 instead of a 80mm. We've got some nice MSI stickers, quick installation guide, a couple of SATA cables, one of which is right angled. There's a little adapter for, looks to be standard 3-pin 5V addressable to one of the like Fantech style. We've then got a little extension for the front panel connections to then run that around the back of the case. And we've also got one of their adapter cables, which is one of their proprietary connectors, but then bridges out to a 3-pin 5V addressable, 4-pin fan, and also the front panel. So if you plan to use that cable, that's 3 cables then condensed to 1, which I really like that adapter. That's a nice little touch. Then we've also got an additional M.2 standoff in there as well. That's also one of their quick release ones. Now you also might notice the Intel box. I've just uploaded the video on the Intel Plus processors, the refresh for Arrow Lake. If you're interested in that, I'll put the card on the screen. But this is going to be the board that I use to test the AMD CPUs, as I'm going to be using the MSI Z890 Ace for the Intel side. So this is very close in terms of spec and all the features that it offers, so it's a great board to compare our Intel processors to. So let's have a little look around. Let's have a look on the back actually first of all. No back plate or anything like that. Now they're also using their pin safe on this, which is basically there's no sharp points on the back of the motherboard, so gone are the days of when drawing blood is a ritual when building a PC. That's yeah, helps to prevent nicks and stuff like that, which is good for beginners, I suppose. So we've got a couple of pills on here. Let's see if we can get these. There we go. The Z890 one went right underneath, so I'm glad that they've sorted that out. It was quite difficult to get that one off. That one. On there. And then one on the M.2. Finally, one down by the bottom SATA ports there. So there we go. Gives a little bit of gloss. On the left hand side we have got an illuminating dragon logo that also will go down to the Carbon there as well. There are some push pins on the bottom of that one that will then transfer to give you some illumination into the middle there as well. Carbon boards have always been really beefy in terms of their VRM cooling and everything like that. This one's going to be no exception. Now I mentioned the Max was a little bit of a refinement from the original Carbon. Now they've added a 64 megabit BIOS, which basically means you get better and longer term support for older CPUs on the platform. Basically there's no compromises with this one. It also has a better overclocking engine as well for those of you that like to dabble. So apart from that, all the I/O and stuff really remains the same, but that 64 meg BIOS just gives you a lot more freedom and flexibility in the overclocking settings. And of course, like I said, the support for older CPUs as new ones come out. On the right angle, we've got our USB Type-C internal connector, 4 SATA 6GB ports, 2 USB 3A headers. I'll put the full spec of those USBs on the screen. On the bottom right, we've got our front panel connections. We've then got a couple of dip switches. So your LEDs, you can turn those on and off if you're not a fan of those, just with a simple dip switch. Power and reset buttons, really great for overclockers. We've then got another 3-pin addressable 5V there. 2 USB 2 headers, we've got another fan header. Another 2 follows the left hand side as well. There's 7 4-pin fan headers on the board, and then you've also got the additional one with the easy connector, so a total of 8 on this board. We've also got a 8-pin supplemental PCI power. If you're doing some really heavy overclocking and you need some more PCI power, you can add that in there. Then got a couple of Pro points, and then also another 5V addressable RGB, a standard 12V RGB connector, and then we've got our front panel audio on the left hand side. This board's using a Realtek ALC 4080 codec, but highly recommend a sound card if you're into your audio. Then you can also swap it between systems as you upgrade. So going back up to our socket, support for 7000, 8000 and 9000 series processors there. We've also got an 18+2+1 duet rail VRM and also an 8-layer server grade PCB I know a lot of people like to know about that. So yeah, you got a nice beefy 8 layer on this one. In terms of our memory, we've got support for up to 256 gigabytes of DDR5. In terms of frequency, we'll have to add that onto the screen. At the time of filming, we don't actually have that info, but hopefully I will for when I edit this. And then going down to our expansion ports. So top one, of course, Lightning Gen 5 M.2, support there for an up to 80mm Gen 5 drive. And then of the push pins that I mentioned for the lighting on the Carbon logo as well. Nice little easy quick release. And we've got another easy quick release for our other panel further down. And then we've got 3 more NVMe slots. The top slot will be Gen 5 up to 80mm, and then we've got 2 more Gen 4 slots below that, the top one of which will do up to 110mm drive. And then for our PCI slots, the top one, of course, Gen 5, and that's also got the nice quick release latch on there to lock your graphics card into place. And further down, we've got an additional PCI Gen 5 running at X8, and then we've also got a PCI Gen 4 that runs at X4, but perfectly good enough for a sound card or a capture card. So going on to our rear I/O, lots of USB-A, love to see that on these boards. So we've got the first 6 here, all USB 10 gigabit ports. We've then got our HDMI output as well, which is great for troubleshooting. We've then got 2 USB-C ports, which are Thunderbolt 4, so 40 gigabit ports. We've then also got a 10 gig, there's another one further down as well, so 4 USB Type-Cs on this board. We've then got our flash BIOS button, clear CMOS, and also a smart button, which you can program to a feature of your choice. We've then got another 3 USB Type A's, again 10 gigabit per second, then a 2.5 gig and a 5 gig LAN, Wi-Fi 7 antenna points, as mentioned, also Bluetooth 5.4. Then we've also got our SP diff, microphone in, and then a line out. So a really feature-packed motherboard there, especially with the rear I/O. I love to see a lot of USB A's. Also, last little things, as I mentioned, this will be the board I use to test the AMD CPUs against the Intel Plus ones. I'll put the link for that video on the screen if you want to check that out. Pricing and availability for this board will also be in the description. It's going to come out in Q2, so April onwards. And yeah, I'll keep that updated for you guys as well. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please get subscribed and ding the bell so you don't miss a future upload. And I'll see you all in the next one.